This is a personal case. It started in 1985 on the 4th of July. My hand was stuck in a machine, and it was a steel roller. I lost my index, and all the fingers of my hand, except the small finger, they were scraped to the skin. So I had a graft. They took a skin from my belly and they grafted my hand in order to save it. Otherwise I would have had only, they would have cut my arms at the wrist. So this happened in 1985, in July. And the Dr. Alphonse Roy from Saint-Sacrement Hospital and his assistant Dr. Tétu and Dr. Charles Orphalie in Saint-Louis-Saint-Paul, they operate me three times at the Saint-Sacrement Hospital and 3 times at Saint-Vincent-de-Paul in Sherbrooke. And they said, we can reconstitute your hand, but you will have no sensibilities, no sensitivity. You will feel nothing everywhere where it will be grafted. The sensibility nerves are very small, and it is immediately under the skin, and we can't graft this. We can graft the veins and the main nerves. So your hands will be unsensitive. So in March I bought a RHUMART machine and giving me global treatments with circles and in different places where I had pain, and suddenly I started to feel something with my hand. That's 5 years ago, and I bought this machine in March, and a little bit later there was an improvement in the sensibility in my hands, and I could feel when I was touching. Otherwise I couldn't feel anything before. So I told this to my daughter, who is a nurse, and a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he said, no, it's nonsense. And I said, you don't believe it? I'll put my hands behind my back. And she said, tell me, I'll tell you where you are touching me. You are touching me here, touching me there, touching me on the thumb, touching me on the small finger. And she was touching very lightly, and I could tell her where she was touching me. Before that I couldn't feel anything. I touched my hand or touched the table, it was the same thing. So the nerves are regenerating, and this is a good proof of this. And I didn't take any special treatments. I was just using globally this machine. And when I had difficulty with my knee, I used to put the band around my knee. And when I use this machine, I read. And can you measure the temperature with your finger now? I can tell you that at the beginning, when I was helping my wife in the kitchen, if my finger touched something burning, it would burn, and I wouldn't feel anything. And I didn't feel anything, but I burnt my finger quite often. But then I started to feel the temperature. Now I know. I can test with anyone. I can put my hand behind my back, and I will tell you where you are touching me in my hand. I really feel. I have a sensitivity now in my fingers, in my hands, and it's improving slowly. So I want to thank Mrs. Rachel Gosselin, who sold me this machine.